QHHT hypnosis practitioner. QHHT is quantum hypnosis technique in which we go and we look back at past lives. I'm also a mom too. I am also an emergency room nurse, which I have been now for about 18 years. My specialty is trauma and emergency room. What QHHT is. QHHT is a form of hypnosis developed by Dolores Cannon. It is a past life regression that looks into your past lives, the lives that you have access to, and relates it to specific questions that you have for today, specific concerns that you have overall for your life. And QHHT is a valuable resource for obtaining this information. QHHT gets into your subconscious mind and is able to access the part of your mind that has no questions and no doubts about anything. It is one of my favorite things that I participate in because in this instance, you're not reaching outside of yourself for the answers. I think all too often we're looking for this leader, this group, that person to give us our answers for our own personal life. And how can anybody know that? The reason why this is great is because I'm actually just a tool by which I help you to answer your own questions. Basically, to get your conscious mind out of the way and to get you into a state where you can look at yourself and give yourself your own personal review. I think the best person to lean on and depend on is yourself. That's what I'm peddling here, which is a big deal for me. And it's also one of the things that I'm passionate about is self-reliance. I have opinions on you. You have opinions on other people. Leaders have opinions on certain groups. But at the end of the day, the most important opinion on you and where you're going is your own. I'm just so passionate about people listening to their inner selves. That's what QHHT offers. That's why I love it. And that's why I'm bringing it to you. So I do this because I've always wanted to help people. That's always been my goal. When I got into nursing, before I got into nursing, when I first started thinking about what careers I wanted to participate in, it was always about helping other people. So that's why I got into nursing. That's why I got into emergency nursing, because I felt like you're really on the front lines and you're really, really helping people. I kind of started to feel that medicine can sometimes be limited just to medications and specific treatments and surgeries that we have to offer you, and that there had to be something more, and that sometimes a person can be perfectly healthy and still not feel well. I think that's a difference, and that's what QHHT offers. I think there is an aspect to the whole person that we have to address before we actually encounter healing. Because I can tell you for certain, there are so many people that I've come in contact with that have spoken to the best doctors, that have used the best equipment, and they still don't feel right. Taken the best and most expensive medications, and they still don't feel right. These are the things that QHHT addresses, and this is why I love bringing it to the table, because it gets right to the root of the problem. There is healing that can be found in QHHT, which is something that we could discuss further. But again, as far as anything beyond that, taking your medications, treatment modalities, things of that nature, obviously you have to speak to your own physician, but there is healing available in QHHT, which is amazing. There are some personal achievements that I hope to gain with my hypnosis. One of them being that I have an interest in extraterrestrials. If I could have a specialty, it would be ancient civilizations and extra dimensional beings and civilizations. Hold on before you get too woo-woo. I do have a bachelor's in the science of nursing, so I am a scientifically trained person. But I have been convinced that, of course, I think there are entities beyond what we can see. And I feel like the answers are not just in me when it comes to dealing with entities beyond what we can see. The answers are in all the people around us. So what I chose to pursue with QHHT, when and if possible, is encounters with other dimensions, with other entities that maybe are not from this earth or maybe don't look like how we look. maybe are from a dimension that I don't understand. That would be my goal. I want to explore that and discover some of those stories and histories that aren't available to us through traditional methods. And that can be done in multiple ways. One of the ways you can do it is by contacting your higher self. Some people are prone to contact. We can also, under hypnosis, explore memories from this current life. If you think that you've had an experience with something that you don't understand and you want to explore that, we can definitely do that in one of our sessions. Another way we can do that is actually to go back into a past life. And I've had a few people that go into past lives that are not of this planet, that are more spacefaring people that do not look like us. That is what I would like to be my specialty. Obviously, many people just have regular lives. And so I'm still interested in contacting all of those people and just seeing the regular lives. Maybe if you were just a farmer in Germany, or maybe if you were just an ancient person that lived on the banks of a shore somewhere. Every person has a story. And I believe the best parts of history live within us, within our epigenetic memories. So that's a little bit about me and my personal goals. But again, I really want to just spread healing out to any person that I have the ability to. And if you want to explore any memories, past memories, or if you have experiences with other dimensional beings, and I'll tell you a secret. I would recommend that if you don't know anything about QHHT hypnosis, that you look up Dolores Cannon, look up a few of her videos. She's no longer with us, but also look up some of her books. She has a ton of books, and read some of her books. What I have learned from her books is that you can actually go into a memory, access a memory, or access a memory from another life. And once you encounter this new being, you can actually ask different questions while we're in the session, because while we're in the session, you're actually reliving that memory. So one of the exciting things is if you wanted to, say for instance, go back to a memory and ask an entity a question that you didn't get a chance to ask at that time, we could do that. So if you're interested in that, please hit me up. Some of the limitations obviously are, if you don't live in Arizona, I'm sorry. I only do hypnosis in Arizona. I do have a website, and all of my links will be available on that website. So that way you can contact me for this modality and some of the other modalities that I offer.